Here's how BibleChat can 2x their creative-led growth. I deconstructed over 1,000 App Store reviews and over 160 top-performing ad creators for BibleChat to understand what their top performers are and also how they test creative. And I've come up with some recommendations on how they can 2x their creative-led growth. Now, if you aren't familiar with it, BibleChat is one of the fastest growing religion and faith-based apps. And they test hundreds of creatives. They test very, very aggressively in very different formats. And yet, they could do better. They have a number of opportunities to unlock growth through better creative testing, through better creative intelligence, which I'm going to show in this video. So here's what we've done. So there's three parts of this presentation that I'm going to walk you through. Number one, audit them, which is understand what their top performers are. I did a review of the last 2 weeks of their tests, mined all their reviews to understand what the users actually want. Then I have synthesized the opportunities they're sitting on and then put together a plan with 3 high-level recommendations that they can use right away. So let's get into it. Here's what's already winning. These are their best top performers. Let's look at each of these right away. Right. So number one is lock screen recording. You can see here the flashing lock screen animation here. This is a Spanish ad. It's a bit of a montage. This also focuses on the lock screen experience. And the first frame, I would believe, is an AI creator. So you can see here, a lot of these, the top 3 basically showcase the lock screen experience. They are made with the help of AI. This is also AI creator. These are some of the other top performing ads. Again, the widget experience, the lock screen experience. Yep. Again, one of the themes that seems to be standing out is temptation, meet cheat. How did you beat lust? A lot of the high performers do seem to be focused on lust. There you go. So the big elements among the high performers are number one, a real phone moment, show the actual screen, show a struggle or a desire. Either you're too busy, get closer to God, or wanting to be clear-headed in the morning, wanting to be up in the morning and connect to God first thing in the morning. The struggle of lust, sin, temptation. And you visually see the verses on the lock screen, and that's a fast transition, which the ad very visually portrays. Now, here's what they're testing most recently. These are their last 2 weeks of tests. There are 10 different angles that they've tested. This is what they've been testing. The lock screen scripture, we've seen that seems to be among the top high performers. That's been tested. Prayer plans and technique. And let's actually look at what each of these looks like so you can review and understand what the different angles are. Great. These are let's look at the lock screen. You can see here, these are what they tested. Great. Here you go. Yeah, this is, sorry. The second one is also lock screen static ad. The third one is the plans and techniques. This is the, so it says, okay, you're doing this wrong. Here's the right way to do this. Here's a plan. Here's the exact technique / plan. And these are the struggles. You can see here, I've been the strong one and I'm struggling. I'm just too tired to pray. The prayer warrior is a phrase that a number of ads use, and they're testing that in very different ways that are very different framings. Then there are ads that are focused on married people, that are targeted to married people. And you can see the headline format, which is if you blank, then blank. And similarly, numbness is a part of the struggle-based ads, but numbness is very specifically focused on, I feel nothing, I feel numb. That's the framing here. And another angle that they seem to be testing quite a bit is like Duolingo, which is like, Duolingo for Christians. There are a number of ads like this. And so there are ads that frame the church as the enemy, which is very interesting. That's basically saying, hey, it's not enough if you just go to church, can't sleep. Here's what will help you sleep better. These are ads that target moms. Again, it's very specific audience being targeted. Now, those are the different messages that they're targeting, which is very interesting to see the different variety of messages in there. Let's look at the formats, which is also interesting. In addition to the different types of messaging, we see there are very different formats here, right? Let's look at the different types of AI animations they're running. Here you go. This has 3D characters all generated with AI. This is a pixel art game, Lego style CGI, and this is claymation. So these are the big styles of AI animation that they're running. Here are some of the other formats that they run. We've seen the lock screen widget as a format. There are faceless ads, and there are other faceless formats with footage, not just text only. These are talking head videos. Yep, these are chat demo and social/native posts. Right, so these are the different formats that they're running just now. So they're testing a lot. They're testing a lot of very, very different directions, which is very interesting to see. Now, here's what I would do as a creative strategist to 2x their growth through creative. Let's get into it. So, number one, lust is one of your top messages. The tests don't really double down on these. So really, that is a big opportunity and to double down on lust in very different forms. They could have different hooks around lust, which could be around lust and temptation. Here's how I conquered lust. And they could have that with different visual hooks. They could have lust with AI animation. I was tempted to feel lust, and here's how I overcame lust. Right? So that is one of the big, most important messages. And yet only 4 ads in the last 2 weeks showed that, and all those were in Spanish. Really double down on your top performer. And my next recommendation would be adjacent extensions. And the question we ask ourselves is, if this is true, what else is true? So if lust is what appeals to users as a key message, what are other battles that the users fight that we can appeal to? These could be faithfulness, temptation, relapsing from addiction, phone addiction, alcohol addiction, anger, sin. These are all one step away from lust. And I think these are other angles to really double down on. And if you look at the recent tests, there are ads about struggle. There aren't as many ads tested around addiction and really trying to break the cycle. That's not a framing that they seem to have tested, which I really think they should double down on, given that lust and temptation seem to be among their top performers just now. The third recommendation I have is to point the animation machine at some of the top performer ads. So, as I said, lust and temptation is an unexploited messaging lane. And they are testing a number of animated formats, and they could point a lot of those at lust/temptation based messaging. And that really allows them to repackage a high-performing messaging with a very different visual format. That is something that I believe they could do. So in summary, right, they are testing a wide variety of messages, wide variety of visual formats, and yet they are sitting on a ton of opportunity. Really, the number one is to double down on what's working really well, Number two, go one step away from what's working really well. Number three, repackage some of the emerging formats to target what's working well. And of course, continue to explore new areas, continue to explore new messaging directions just as well. That's all we had for today. And if you'd like us to deconstruct your brand or produce high-performing ads for you, please hit me up and we'll be happy to do this for you. If you like this, if this appealed to you, if this was interesting to you, please hit like and leave us a comment below. Thank you.